Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. Today we're going to be looking at the stories from across the region over the last week. But first, here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, road safety is being encouraged to residents in the Hull City Council area and two surprising new members of North East Lincolnshire Council. The vicar at Holy Trinity Church in Hull has said it makes sense for the venue to become a minster. It's been announced that the site in the city centre will undergo a refurbishment programme which will include a cafe being built as well as performance space being opened up within the building. It is hoped that externally Trinity Square will become a continental-style piazza which makes the area all-round more equipped to host functions and events going into Hull's City of Culture year in 2017.
At the moment we're very hampered, when we do, for example, the Real Ale Festival, we're squashed into the spaces we've got. Even when we have traditional services, we're spread out right along the length of the church, which makes it very difficult to have a sense of fellowship. And I can see that Holy Trinity is absolutely crucial. It's the biggest single entity in the old town. And so if we can draw people down here and then signpost them on to other places, whether it's for a meal, whether it's to the museums, whether it's to explore the wonderful architecture of our streets and of the old medieval town or our waterfront, then that's a great role that we can play.
Hull City Council is launching new road safety initiatives to correspond to Road Safety Week. These initiatives include giving advanced driving lessons to young and new drivers to improve their driving, alongside giving the same classes to elderly people. The council is also giving out free cycle helmets to children to decrease the risk of injury after accident. Alan Robbins, a road safety officer for Hull City Council, outlined the reasons why the council is starting these initiatives.
Well, we're always wanting to improve on the safety of our community. I mean, Hull is quite fortunate. It's got some of the safest roads for a city in the country. But you can't rest on your laurels, and it's a battle that we'll never win. But if we can spare people heartache in the future, then it's being proactive, and we hopefully saving the community a lot of trauma in the future.
100, that's the number of firearms which were handed in to Lincolnshire Police during their amnesty held during the first part of November. As of 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 100 had been handed in. This included handguns, rifles, shotguns, imitation weapons and air weapons. The event ran from the 3rd of November till the 14th last Friday. North Lincolnshire Council want to get young people into engineering. An event will take place this weekend at the Pods, and families are invited along to see what a job in the engineering trade is all about. There will be practical workshops and demonstrations to show what a career in engineering offers. It comes after huge investments in projects such as Able UK's Marine Energy Park and the Lincolnshire Lake development. Sean Brennan, Projects Team Manager at the Council, explained why the Council is undertaking this programme.
What that means is we have an opportunity that now we cannot really afford to lose, and this is about capturing the hearts and minds of our young people aged 10 to 13 to show there are jobs coming in there, thousands in renewables, and we need to make the most of them. We have a university technical college being built which will open in September 2015, and it's about showing people before they make those options as don't look past engineering, because it can be so much more than what you might have thought it was and your parents thought it was in the 60s and 70s. It is not a declining industry, it's a growth industry, and in North Lincolnshire it's growing faster than anywhere else.
And finally, local government gained 2 extra helpers last week. North East Lincolnshire Council has appointed its first ever junior mayor and junior deputy mayor. They took their oaths of office on Thursday. Charlotte Lowe, the junior mayor, has been chosen due to her hard work and dedication and organisation of events to help local charities. Darcy Denton, junior deputy mayor, has helped older members of our community and even helped an elderly member of the community who was suffering from dementia home one day. We asked them why they'd got involved.
Yeah, I do think it's important that more younger people get involved, because it's making a difference, and some people might really want to have this opportunity as well. Being sworn in, it was quite nervous, but it was really exciting as well.
The best thing about being deputy mayor is that I can inspire other young children to do like really fun stuff like this and get out more and stuff. The mayors and the councils have looked after me really well. They're a bit scary though.
That's all from me for now, and I'll be back with more news soon. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Richard. Now, it's the time of the week where we take a look at what's happened across the region throughout the week. And here with me today, my guest is Alex Baxter. He's the Mayor of North East Lincolnshire. Thank you very much for coming in today, Alex.
Hello, James. We're delighted to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad. So I'm going to, I mean, obviously you're the Mayor of North East Lincolnshire, so I'm going to head straight in with a Grimsby story, probably one of the most contentious stories in Grimsby in quite some time. They've announced when Skint, the TV show, is going to start here.
Well, to be fair, I have the slight advantage because I've already made a quote in the Telegraph about this, which wasn't totally apolitical. I must emphasise as a mayor, not allowed to take a view. But what I would repeat is the fact is an absolutely diabolical insult to the people of the West and East Marsh, where they're trying to almost undermine all of the good work that is done by the residents, by the community, and in fact by the borough across the whole. It is almost a repeat of the Sacha Cohen film where he was trying to again go back in history and what it was like in Grimsby in terms of fishing. However, strangely enough, where did they have to film this? Not in Grimsby, not in North East Lincolnshire, not in North Lincolnshire. They had to go to Kent to do it. That's how much and how great we have moved on since those days. But they're still stuck in it despite their wealth down south.
I mean, of course, that Sacha Baron Cohen movie Grimsby is being filmed at the moment. It's kind of a different matter because that's I mean, and it is a work of fiction, and it makes no.
But you will not help people linking the two.
No, you're right.
Because it's always the positive side we try to look at, and we don't have our glass half full, and we don't have it half empty. We know we're on the up and up, so we have it 3/4 full all of the time.
I suppose the other side of the scale here is that this is a documentary. It's not and people will argue that the edit is the edit and that it will have an agenda, and I think that's probably fair. But some people will say, you know, it is fair, and actually some people in those areas do have a bit of a rotten time of life.
Well, they do have a rotten time of life, that's absolutely true, but I think you will find that they would tend not to focus on that. They would tend to focus on an exaggerated version of what is probably an insult to the greater population in those areas, in fact in the region. I'm sorry, I must tell you that I totally disagree with it.
I can tell.
I think that people ought to really remind themselves that we are in a positive environment in North East Lincolnshire. In fact, in the Humber region, look at the renewable energy, all of the industries that are investing here. You can undermine that and pick all of that good work almost instantly by one negative comment. So I am probably against it.
I know, I totally understand your point of view, and we'll move on shortly, but just one more point really, which is that in Scunthorpe, the Westcliff estate, where that was filmed and very controversial, that all got knocked down shortly afterwards, and now it's been sort of revitalised, they say. Is that a possibility?
Of course, there is always that hidden agenda, but nevertheless, I would suspect that these planning references take such a long time to put into place. You can't say it's a direct consequence of, or in fact, it's even been the process has been sped up by this. I suppose, expose, as they would like to say.
I see your point, yeah. It's, I think maybe we'll move on. You've perhaps said enough about that one, Alex.
Yeah, we can, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to go for something a little bit more light-hearted here. We've got a story here in the Scunthorpe Telegraph, and this is about a chap who is a model aircraft flyer, and he's about to go on the trip of a lifetime to Mongolia to compete in the Model Flying World Championships.
Well, I think the headline itself sums it up, on cloud 9. What more can you say? It's an attractive headline. Everybody knows what it means, and I love his aircraft. The picture there is really, really incredible. But to go to Mongolia for this, I mean, how do you travel there?
I know.
How many changes? Will your aircraft get there with you, and will you be able to compete? But it's amazing that they've got so many other competitors there.
45 nations.
45 nations. I mean, there are only 200 odd countries in the world, so that's a fairly high percentage of it. Yeah. Yeah, I got to say that I'd love to be there, be a fly on the wall, just to find out exactly how this is organised. But there again, of course, it's globalisation. It's the fact that the world has shrunk.
Yeah.
Everybody can travel, and whilst we had this mystic impression of Mongolia in times gone past, the reality is they actually do have running water, electricity. Come on, you've got to move on in life.
It's nice
but
to
that's
see,
good. That's a good story. I
nice
really
to see
like
people
it.
go to such lengths for their passion, though, isn't it?
It is. I think it's very dedicated. Yeah. Well
So
done. Well done to him. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, I'm trying to think where should we go next. Really, there's plenty of other stories we've had a look at. There's one here that I wanted to touch on briefly. I know you don't want to say too much because you remain apolitical, but these refinery workers in the third day of walkout. I mean, this was when this was published. That was Thursday. But
yeah,
these guys have got safety concerns and they've walked out of the factory.
Everybody should have safety concerns, so I don't think anybody would disagree with the ethos. But at the end of the day, you'll find that the workers, the local employees who are actually full-time employment there, not the contractors.
These guys are contractors, so if they don't turn up, they don't get paid.
That's true, but at the end of the day, I'm sure these safety concerns from their point of view, because one of their colleagues was indeed injured, is of a concern. However, it sometimes tends to over-exaggerate what proper safety application and regime is in place at the refinery. It's a refinery after all. Flixborough, everybody will remember many, many years ago, but they've moved on since then. Technology is an advantage, and of course they have very, very good safety officers on the refinery. So Phillips 66 have actually always tried to do the right thing by the borough and by the people in northeast Lincolnshire. So I just find that the sort of story that they may have a concern of walked out is maybe tended to bring this to a level which it doesn't truly deserve, I've got to say.
And of course there is a process if people do
Of course, and it's just walking out as wildcat strikes were the 1960s and 70s. I think negotiation, as Churchill said, jaw is better than war.
Yeah, certainly. Now we've got one more here. I mean, this is about Dad's Army being filmed in the Hull area at the moment. It's coming to Beverley next. What do you think? Were you a fan of Dad's Army?
I loved Dad's Army, but I really think it's great for the region to do filming here, to use these resorts, because they're absolutely unique in their character and makeup, and the people there are delighted to welcome the film crews in there. My only, I suspect, comment would be that I'm not sure whether you always associate the characters in Dad's Army are going to be the same, but it'll take a few episodes really. If it's a film, that might actually be better.
Yeah.
But if you did it as a series, then of course you'd have to get used to the character changes, and it's not as if you can do Doctor Who and you can re-energise yourself and suddenly Mr. Mannering comes out as something else. It's
so it'll be a tough call for these actors, but
no, I think they'll do it well, and I really think that it's good for the region, it's good for the economy, and it may attract other film companies in there. We've got a lot, and let's hope they use the architecture and the background to best effect. In which case, everybody will realise that this is a comedy, but at the end of the day, look at the environment, look at the people, look at the enthusiasm. That's what we want to promote. And
it's a unique landscape, and other films have come here, and I'm sure there's a lot of money to be brought to an area from a huge film crew.
And of course, I mean, you can almost go along the lines of, if you ever talk about Grimsby, they say, "Oh, do you know Kevin?" Of course we know Kevin. We love him and his sister. But I've got to say, at the end of the day, this is all about trying to attract business, trying to attract new initiatives into the region, and we love it. We really, really do love it. And well done to the resort. Yeah, well
I'm sure
done.
it'll be great. Well, I'm afraid we're running out of time now, Alex. But thank you very much for coming in. We didn't get through as many as we hoped.
Absolutely delighted to be here.
And we'll have you back sometime again.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. But don't forget, if you've got any stories to share with us, you can get in touch on Grimsby 31553. Find us on social media, search for Estuary TV, or just email us on news@estuary.tv. Bye for now.